Everybody should see my screen, yes? Cool. Okay. So we were going through this week, trying to figure out what we wanted to do for Young Again, one of our brands, and how we can build this like an advertorial. We kind of found this native path, and it's a fairly long advertorial, but a lot of it is kind of like the education of statins and CoQ10 and everything like that. So just wanted to start us out with like, okay, like if I was going to come in here and recreate this page for our Young Again brand, what I would do. We're going to, you guys asked that I build it out in Zipify, so we're going to start there instead of building it out using AI or anything else. We will use AI for the copy though. So we'll get started, but I did prep a little bit with images, so I already put the screenshots for it into chat, and then just basically asked chat like, hey, if I'm going to recreate this, what images do I need to find? Because I didn't want to have to spend the entire time on the call like sourcing some images, so we'll just start there. But it gave me like what we need for like our banner, headline and intro, what our 5 signs are going to be, and then like what images I would look for all those. So if I were going to start all of this at the beginning and just being like, okay, let's write the copy, let's have chat write the copy, and then we'll pull it into a doc and we'll go from there, right? So that's the next question is like, I can write the full advertorial section by section, ready for your website. What style would you like? Warm and friendly, clinical and research backed, story driven, or urgency driven. For our Young Again brand, it's really about like living well, aging well, and making sure like we're living our life to the fullest. So we do like that warm and friendly tone. But we do like to have like some of the research back. So let's start building or writing the copy, right? And friendly, as well as some clinical science backed info.
Is this the AI or is this
And
the provider?
this is AI. This is just on ChatGPT
Okay.
to get us started. And then I have like a sample headline that I have written out, so just to kind of get the chat started. So we'll get that going. It'll start to spit out the other stuff. But if I'm going to start building it out in Zipify, we can come in here and build out a new page. We're going to use a landing page. And then it just kind of depends on your preference. Do you want to start with a blank page, or do you want to start with any of the preset templates that they have? They do have some that are engagement pages, advertorials. They'll have a lot of different stuff in here, but let's just start with a blank page. We're going to call it our CoQ10 advertorial. Okay, we're going to do a blank section. All right, we're going to kind of build this out very, very similar, except for with our branding, with our angle for our users and everything like that, our customers. And so while I do think that there is some benefits to having like a pre-built page, there's also like existing sections that you can use, or you can build any of these sections here. I do a lot of page building, so I actually don't think that I go in here and look at these too often. So we're gonna go with just building it out on our own. Let's say that this is our like our header section. We're gonna want to do our headline and then a main image here. So I'll create a 1-column section. We'll add our text. We'll need a couple of text box, and then we'll do an image. And then we'll come back to chat and just kind of see where we are. Sometimes I like to work in ChatGPT, but sometimes I also need to just kind of see it inside of a document. That way we can kind of really get a feel for it and just kind of see what's going on. So It's given us a bunch of headline options. And then it also clarifies for us like the angle behind them. So not all CoQ10 works the same, especially for statin users over 55. Your body changes after 55, and not every CoQ10 can keep up. Millions take CoQ10, but most are using a form their body can absorb, and statin lowers CoQ10 levels, but only the right form helps replenish. I don't love any of these. Is anybody is like, "Oh my goodness, yes, that's a great headline," or are we just kind of feeling, "Eh, it's okay." Pretty much that it's just okay. All right. So let's go back to this one. They're saying important update for statin users. That's really the target audience that we're going over is people who currently are using statin. So it's like 5 signs you're suffering with a silent deficiency that blood tests don't catch. And if you're taking a statin or you just want to keep your heart, blood pressure, and cholesterol healthy, read this now. So let's come back in here to chat and just let it know that we hate all the headline options. I want to grab their attention quickly. And then I might actually say statin users and then direct them to read the advertorial and not mention CoQ10 so we can lead them to it.
Melissa, sometimes I'll just like copy the headline. Do you ever
Hmm.
do this? Just copy the headline straight up, paste it into Chat GPT or Odyssey, and just say, change this whole thing to align with my target audience.
Yeah, I have done that as well. Let's do that one next. Okay, let's kind of go over the ones that's given us first, though. Millions of statin users are missing this one silent cause of low energy. That these are already feeling much more um, like they're gonna pull in a reader, right? Like I'm gonna actually read it. If you take a statin, read this. A common side effect no blood test warns you about. All right, let's copy this headline subheadline combo. Their headline and rewrite it for our audience. And it'll give us a bunch of options every time. So, attention statin users, I like that. We're going to go ahead and plunk that in. So, we're calling out the people who we're going to talk to right away. Discover the 5 early warning signs of silent deficiency most tests overlook. Doesn't give me enough context. 5 signs you may be struggling with a hidden nutrient drop that doesn't show up on blood tests. That one's intriguing. Overlooked symptoms of nutrient decline that common lab works fail to detect. That feels like it's written by ChatGPT, right? 5 signs you're experiencing a silent deficiency that routine tests miss completely. Here are 5 subtle clues your body might be low. I want to write a version of this one. Okay. We're going to do 5 subtle clues. Low in a key nutrient.
Why'd you choose that one?
Um, Good question, good question. Okay, so the reason let's go back and look at all of them. The reason that I went with that is because I feel like it's really much a balance between all of it, and I'll be able to quickly adapt it with just a couple of words. So like this one, the clinical one, it really is just giving like AI wrote it and or somebody who is working like very clinical. So it's not ready for our audience. And where's the first one? 5 signs you may be struggling with a hidden nutrient drop. That one's really intriguing. So kind of combining that with this one. So we're putting it together. 5 subtle clues, making sure I spelled subtle right. Subtle clues your body's struggling and maybe low in a key nutrient. Um, so choosing it mostly because I would read that. And I think that our audience, based off of what we know about them, they would read that. Do you feel like you would read it if you were gonna be scrolling by?
Yeah, I was curious. I was just curious what your thought process was, in, like, choosing that one,
Yeah.
kinda like for everybody else, because like, we go through this stuff and we just subtly know, it's like, "That's a better headline, let's just use that," but oftentimes, it's hard for me to articulate what made me choose that headline or that copy, so I was curious what yours was.
Yeah. No, that's helpful because then that's if you guys have questions like that along the way, love to hear them. Okay, so then let's go back through. They've got some subheadlines. So if you're taking a statin or simply want to support healthy heart aging, this is something you shouldn't ignore. Anyone 55 and older who wants steady energy, heart comfort, and healthy cholesterol should read this right away. Whether you're on a statin or simply aiming to protect, this may apply to you. If you want to stay active, energized, and heart healthy, this is in information is essential, or anyone wanting long-term health, wellness, and balanced cholesterol will benefit from knowing this. I think a lot of people, when they hop into chat, will like if you've picked option 5, they think that they have to go with the headline and subheadline. But again, we're totally agnostic to whatever chat GPT thinks. So we're gonna come up with our own subheadline or use any of these kind of, right? I kind of like the idea of leading them towards staying active, energy, and heart healthy, showing them the benefits right away so that we can, again, like we talked about previously, we want to have that clear promise above the fold. So if we're going to able to tell them right away, like why they want to read this page, and then underneath it, the um, benefits that they're going to be able to get without clearly saying, you need CoQ10. I think that's kind of the angle that we want to take. So this one or this one. This one calls out anyone 55. Steady energy, heart comfort, healthy cholesterol. I don't know what heart comfort is. Um, we'd have to change that. Where's the other one? If you want to stay active, I think this is the one we'll go with. And then update here. All right. If you want to stay active, energized, and heart healthy, I might come back and change that. But we'll know the more that we get it built out. And let's do our logo at the top. Well, I thought I had it. We're going to put that in there for now. That is not going to stay, you guys. It's ugly. We have a new logo that I don't have uploaded into Zipify just yet.
Want me to
Uh,
grab it for you?
yes, please. Okay. And we're going to go through and kind of get as much in here, and then we'll have to pause. We're not going to go through the whole thing, and I do want to be able to like get to your questions and be able to chat through kind of like some of the decisions that we're making. So we're not going to be able to get to all of it today, but these are the images that I grabbed beforehand, so that way we would have something to start with, and then it goes straight into like the story of the advertorial. So let's go back to our Zipify page. If I can avoid typing, I do, so I'm constantly grabbing a screenshot for my chat, but do whatever works for you guys. So here's the headline and subheadline we're going with. Let's write the first section that introduces. We want to have an introduction before we hop into the 5 reasons. Okay. So while it does that, we're going to get a new section started. And we want this one will probably be one section or one column. Text button. Okay. Let's make it look a little pretty. Okay, for young again. Shoot, what is my font? I should have known this. It is
Hold on, I
something.
think I got it for you. It's
Okay.
all changed.
I know.
It's I've got the wrong branding guide actually. Try Enter.
Okay. That is what we have currently on the site too, so that works for me. Now I gotta double check that it's in here. Yep. Okay. And this is one of the things that I think that you can set up in your settings in Zipify, but I just never have. Let's go with, I want larger font across, especially for our target audience here. They are going to be older, so if we can get a little bit of a larger font on the front end, does not hurt at all. I don't like this little hanging Chad, right? So we're gonna either go up or go down, and then this guy will do kind of start there and go from there. I personally like our headlines to be bolded to stand out, and then our sub headlines to not be bolded. In this one, I put it a weight of 500. So 400 is going to be a regular, 700 is going to be if you straight bold it. You can heavy bold, but having that slight a little bit darker than the other one is nice. And then we can use like our green if we want. Gosh, I thought I had that logo. Young Again logo. I have the beige one. That's not great.
It's sending. Sorry, the files were big.
All good.
You have it in Slack.
Okay. Okay, thanks. All right. I gotta just download that real quick, you guys. Talks amongst yourselves.
So how's the weather?
Cold.
Oh my goodness, I forget that it's cold everywhere else. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
you get the nice California weather.
Yeah.
Except for I heard today it was rainy. Is that true?
Not where I am now.
Mm.
So we are. Oh, what is our weather today? I'm not gonna make you guys too jealous, am I? 76.
Ooh. Yeah, that'd be nice.
I've been determined not to turn our air conditioning on.
I love that that's an option.
I don't want it to be an option. Okay. Um, I don't love this. I'll come back to it, but I also put this in our new branding color of green, and it really just doesn't pop. It doesn't give me anything. So I would most likely switch it back to black. But I think once we kind of build the page out, we'll kind of be able to figure out if we want to use like a non-branded color like red or something like that. So let's go back to chat and just kind of look at what it's given us for the intro section. So again, I like dark mode, but I don't know what it is about copy. Sometimes I just need to see it in a Google Doc. If you're taking a statin, you're already doing something. This is just a lot. Subtle nutrient drop can leave you, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Let's rewrite with a warm, friendly tone and more young again audience in mind. And then I'll remind it, remember, age, what is it? Age well, live well? Age
Pro
well,
age
live
well?
fully.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
I'll just hang out over here.
No, you're very helpful. Don't you stress. Okay. If you're taking a statin, you're already looking for your long-term health, and that's something to feel good about. Here's a small piece of the picture many adults don't hear about, and then kind of leading into that. So let's All right. I don't like M dashes anymore. Thank you, ChatGPT, for ruining that. You're already looking out for your long-term health, and that's something to feel good about. Here's a small piece of the picture. When we use statins, the body can slowly lose a key nutrient. So we're educating them here, kind of leaning it in without having to give them too much information. Gentle shift. Easy to miss something. Okay. Has it been 3 decades? Oh my goodness. Okay. Supporting adults, and we've seen the same pattern again and again. All right, and then we're gonna slowly like give them that intro into the 5 subtle signs. And it gives us the age well and live fully, so it like circles back. If I am going to post this on like if we're gonna run ads to this, this will be something that like I'll go through and do a deeper dive on the copy, but we're just getting stuff up and running with you guys. So I think we'll just kind of use ChatGPT copy for now. We're going to use a size 18 font. Give us lots of space. And then I'll duplicate this twice. I like your body often gives early signs. So we're going to take that and make its own text thing. And I'll show you why in just a second. Okay. Okay, so when you're building stuff out, I think a lot of people when they're just starting to use Zipify or they're just starting to use a page builder, they really just start putting in the blocks that they need. And so this very much is like the beginning of an advertorial that we could eventually run traffic to. But if you were to like send this to your mom for her to buy this, it is giving very much 2004 internet. And so we can make some small adjustments that are going to have like a really big impact. So I'm going to soften the corners here on our image and reduce the size of our image so it's not going to take up the whole entire page, maybe there. And then we need to give it a lot more room to breathe. So when you guys send me your pages to look at, one of the biggest things that I tell people is A, dynamic copy, and B, letting it breathe. See, even here, I put it on padding instead of margins. My bad, y'all. Okay. If I put it on padding, we're going to lose our rounded corners. So we're going to put our margins, and even if adding 20, like then you can kind of just take a peek and it's like, that's still not enough. If I'm looking at it, I want to have more spots. Yes, Sutton?
What do you mean by dynamic copy?
Perfect. I've not seen it. I've not given you feedback on anything yet, Sutton, so this is a great question. Okay, so dynamic copy is when we're doing anything that is going to make our keywords stand out. So bold, italicized, underline, anything like that. So in this section, our biggest dynamic copy is going to be here, here, and there, and there. But that's straight from ChatGPT, right? If I'm doing it, I'm going to go through and for like each section, kind of pick out the words that I want them to like their eyes to naturally go to. So right here for slowly lose a key nutrient, we'll underline. And then this one, I want to be like our biggest call out. Your body often gives early signals when it needs extra support long before everything else shows up in a lab report. And then just down here, like it'll have the this section italicized, we'll keep that, that's fine. And then those 2 sections of bold. Is that helpful to answer your question?
Yes. Would it also count to like change the color?
Yes,
Have it off?
absolutely. Absolutely. So if we were to say, okay, we want to do like we're gonna not go with branding, let's go with bright, oh my goodness, red. Hold please. Okay. That didn't work.
Oh, can we, if we have an extra second, go over how to set the fonts on like the page settings right there? Because that's it. Like, I always tell myself I'm going to do it, and I literally never do it.
I always tell myself I'm gonna do it and I never do it either. So we can, but we might have to figure that out together. Because I've never done it. So yeah, if you wanted to do like this whole section bold, but you wanted to have um, early signals red, you can just come in here and switch it up. So that way that is, you're calling out this whole section. You want them to read this first. It's bigger. It is bold. It is dark. And then having that red means like this is the most important part of that sentence, right? And then we need more space here.
Would you want dynamic copy on PDPs too, or just for landing pages or advertorials?
Great question. I want dynamic copy definitely on landing pages, advertorials. If you have a very heavy section of like if your PDP is very similar to a landing page where you're doing a lot of education or a lot of benefits on there, dynamic copy is beneficial, especially if it's a lot of copy. If it's very copy forward, like this page would be, you're going to want to direct them. You've seen those things on Instagram where it's like, oh, look here, and then and it's like, oh, read the caption, and then check here, and then you're kind of direct where to go by the Instagram story. Very similar to this, like we're telling them where to look, what information is important. I don't think many people are going to read the entire thing. So we really want to kind of push them. So for a PDP, it's like if we have a lot of copy, if we're trying to direct them just to certain bits of it. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we can figure out this whole text thing. Just kidding. You're going to have to figure that out, Austin. I don't know where it is.
It, where it says text at the top left, click the left arrow. Yep. And then it's the drop. And then text. And then you select whichever one, and then you have to edit each one individually.
Okay. So then I could come in here and turn it all to enter and I wouldn't have to update all that.
Yeah.
How does it know if I'm on a body copy or not?
You set it whenever you highlight the text. So
Okay.
yeah, it says body copy 1.
Okay. Well, and I'm also have changed everything to enter, so you don't get to see it magically change. Okay. Does that make sense how we're setting up the beginning of the page, how we go in? Does anybody have any questions up to this point on like how we would start building out a page in Zipify?
No.
Are good templates in Zipify so you don't have to do all that from scratch. Have you
Yeah.
have experience there?
Let's go and chat templates now. I think that'll be a really good thing for us to do. Okay, so if we're doing if we're building the same advertorial, but I wanted to start with a template, we're gonna have to pick one that is a good one. Hold on. That's the only problem is it takes us a little bit to find a good one. Sales page. I know they have the boom one in here somewhere. Multi-item, new products.
So it's all in the product, right? Okay, you don't have need any external thing.
Yeah, you can build
Okay.
out everything
You
in
just
here.
passed it. It's the old school one, 5 tips pre-sale. I think they've updated it since then.
I thought so too. I thought they had it in here as a template as well.
Yeah, I'll grab their new link. Their new page looks a lot better, but that one got them to what, 20 million. So
Yeah. It's not this one, is it? That might be it.
Mm,
Yeah, that
maybe.
one's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
Okay.
go
Well,
grab their ad library.
okay. Either way, if you're going to start with a template, let's just kind of go through that, right? So let's say we're using the same headline and subheadline. Oh, of course, it's going to make me go. When you copy and paste, sometimes it makes you have that, like that same background. So we'll update that there, and then we'll also make sure it's enter and we are center aligned. And that looks good. And then it doesn't currently have a subheadline, but I feel like our audience needs a subheadline, so we would add that in. And then just make sure that we've got some spacing on here. No, don't need that spacing on top. So then you would be able to come in and just kind of edit each of the things. So here's the other thing is if you wanted to, like we're working off of this 5 signs you're suffering page, you could easily, if you're like, I want to use this Boom by Cindy Joseph page exactly, and just update the copy on there for our product. I have a Chrome extension called the full page screenshot, go full page. And it'll capture the, hold on, before we do that, we gotta hide this bar. Okay. It'll capture the whole entire page. So that way I can simply just download this and then give that to ChatGPT and say, hey, write this for, rewrite this for CoQ10 or whatever product you're doing, right? So you're able to do that. But
That's
when you're
cool. What's that Chrome extension called? Sorry.
that's cool. It is Go Full Page.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank
I
you.
will, I can also send it to you after, the link to it. But the only thing that I would say about when you're doing something like this, where you're going to take the template, and the templates work fantastic. I love it. Just make sure that you're going through each of the details that um, that they have on here. So for our brand, this blue is just not the background. We would kind of go with, if we're doing a color background, it would be like this green. You want to make sure that all of the fonts are your fonts, all the imagery makes sense for you and your people, like for your audience and everything. So that way you're going through each of the sections and kind of building that out. And one of the cool things about Zipify is you can duplicate everything. So right here, they have these 5 tips, and that's like the heavy lifting of their like listicle being the 5 tips for makeup users, but then they have the more information down here. So if you didn't want to have your 5 tips here, but you wanted to have your 5 tips down below, and you're like, but they only have 3 left and right images, you can duplicate the sections. You can move sections around, all of that, and then kind of play with spacing, play with, oh, and my mouse is definitely not liking me today. It will not scroll down. Why are we scrolling upwards, you guys? I feel like I'm going low-key crazy. Oh, there we go, slowly but surely. Okay, what? I'm I'm so over or Zipify right now. What the heck? Just put it
What's
upward.
happening when
Oh, there
you
we
scroll down?
Oh, we're good. It was it was freaking out on me. So, and so like you don't have a video, you kind of have to just decide if you have like all these sections and you want to not have your 5 tips here, so you'll have tip 1, tip 2, 3, 4, and then 5, then you have to decide what you want to replace. If you don't have a video, that's fine. You can put in an image, you can put in like a benefits section, and all of that. And so then like whatever sections don't apply to you. You can delete or you can duplicate, and then they also have other pre-built sections. If you wanted to be like, I really want like a frequently asked questions section, you can pull that in and then build that out as well. But like once we have everything in, so say this is our whole entire our advertorial, we've got all the information in here. Don't skip the step of looking at it outside of the editor because things change. So when you're previewing it, it's going to look one way. When you publish and view it, it might change as well. So just make sure that every step of the way that you're checking that. And then if you aren't viewing it on mobile, you're going to be missing out big because what is it? 80-90% of our traffic comes from mobile. So I generally like to design on desktop. I get everything up, set up how that I want it, make sure that I've got all my images, my dynamic copy, everything like that. And then I switch to each of these tabs. So this will be for anybody on a tablet. For a lot of people, they don't worry about updating how it looks on a tablet, but our crowd, especially with the 55 and older, they are on their iPads. My mother-in-law loves her iPad and she does the whole internet on her iPad. So I make sure to make the tablet section look good, making sure that people can, use it functionally. And then the most important one is going to be here, where you're going to have to come in and make sure that everything makes sense, that we still have spacing throughout, that our images look good. Sometimes you will have you'll have to reorder things. So say that we really have, hold on, we want the image on the bottom. I think that I can do that here. Yep. So you'd be able to switch it. So for example, all of our left and rights have like the copy and then the image, and then the copy. But when we're on mobile, we want it to be one straight way. So if it's image and then copy, we want each of those sections to be image and copy. So you would need to just come in here. So this is image, copy, image, and then copy, etc. So you just make sure that those are all set up. If you grab the row, it'll have both the image and the copy, and then you can kind of just decide which order that you guys want it on. Does that part make sense? Okay. Okay. Does that help with using a template, Reinhard?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. And I assume the mobile edit is decoupled, right? So then you don't change it on desktop if you do that.
That's a really good question. So some of the stuff is decoupled and some is not. So if I'm
Okay,
doing like the stacking order left to right, that won't mess up anything on desktop. I can change the sizing of my font and that won't change anything on desktop. But
okay,
if I were to like replace this image, it would replace the image on desktop as well.
okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. That was our first, mostly like the beginning stages of a walkthrough. Okay. I want to get your guys' feedback. What was helpful? What wasn't helpful? And like, what questions do you have? Because I really want to make sure that like, when you guys are building out the pages, that I can give you as much information as possible, but I don't want it to be information overload. I want it to be like strategic. This is going to help me build out my page, build out my offers. No questions? No feedback? When did I turn off my camera, you guys?
I
Why
have a
there we
I have a
Hi,
question.
Melissa.
go. Hey, Michael, how's it
There
going?
you go. You're back. You kind of
Going
froze there for a
good.
minute.
Yeah. You're all thawed out now. No, so you spend a lot of time on implementation and building. I'm not saying you should change topics, but the area that I want to delve into the most is how to say more of a psychological dimension. So, rather than how to implement a design, what design to implement?
That's a good
Because the
question.
implementation for me is I
Not
can
as
do it in
hard.
my sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. So what design am I gonna implement or what kind of page layout, any of that? I really am gonna start with kind of figuring out what everybody else is doing. I'm gonna see what's working well currently, and I am with a caveat. So one of the things that we talk about in offer mining, like we go over, we've done toothpaste tablets, we've done olive oil, we've done all of these things, and I think a lot of times we kind of get stuck in our head that I only need to see supplement brands. I only need to see what other people are doing in the supplement space. But I think ecom is so wide that we can kind of borrow from other um, niches. I was going to say
Yeah.
genres. I don't think that's it. Niches. So yeah, I'm
Different verticals.
yeah, so that's how we found the one that we're looking at, let me see. This one here. That's how kinda how we found that. We were looking for a long form advertorial that looks really, really clean, so we kind of knew what we were looking for in the beginning, and then it just happens to also be the same product that we're going for. So, that's what we were looking for. We went out and specifically tried to find an advertorial that is kinda gonna fit that. Um, but so a lot of it is just kind of research and then kind of putting together all the pieces. So when I'm looking in the ads library for somebody, I try and see like how long they're running stuff for. Does it make sense? Also, like
There you
as a
go.
consumer, does it make sense from their ad to their landing page, stuff like that? If there's a disconnect, I'm like your landing page doesn't make sense for your ad. I don't want to like copy that type of landing page, everything like that. So just like a lot of heavy on the research of what's working well for other people and everything. If somebody is running advertorials, I don't want to, and a lot of people are running advertorials right now. I'm not going to go, spend a 45 minutes recording a VSL for my CoQ10.
Okay. That's a good general overview. Maybe sometime we can do more of a deep dive
Yeah,
into the research analysis and um, psychology of it.
absolutely.
Michael, I can show you exactly what we did to like NativePath is something that we're gonna copy. So I've gone down the route of trying to formulate things based off of like the psychology and everything, but it doesn't hold a flame to just seeing what somebody else is doing and then just copying it. Because you don't want to
Yeah, no, I
reinvent
get
the
that.
wheel.
It's definitely another case of, sorry to cut you off, but like definitely another case of do what works, don't reinvent the wheel. But
Mhm.
the analysis part and then why does it work? That's the part I want to learn.
Yeah, so you won't know until you've actually run it. So the reason that
Well,
works
and
for
that's
native
for the
path,
performance dimension. Sorry,
yeah.
I cut you off again. But in terms of performance, you can't see like other people's conversions. So I like what Melissa said about like seeing how long they've run that ad, because that's kind of
Mhm.
a, gives a little whiff of its success. Any other, kind of sniff test for what's working would be great to know about.
Yeah, so let's do this. Let's go entire screen. Just give me a can you guys see my screen right now?
Not yet.
Oh, it's gonna take 20 minutes if it even shows up.
Yeah, if it even shows up is definitely the thing. But it's cool. I didn't even know I froze or, how much you guys missed. Or my camera still showed on, but that was the weird part.
Yeah, we could hear you going through everything. Your video was frozen.
That's crazy.
Still not showing?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, so I'll just talk you through it then, Michael. So essentially, what we did is we knew that Young Again, we're struggling with getting traffic through the door because our products are so cheap. Cost per acquisitions are going up. So we wanted to see what other brands were doing. So essentially, one of the hero products on Young Again was CoQ10. We just put CoQ10 supplement in Google, and then we just filtered through some of the brands. And so there's big ones on there that you'll see in like Whole Foods and everything. But one of the key things that we're looking for is a brand that's established on digital, not in retail. NativePath is in retail, but they're really big on digital. And so once we identified those, then we go pop that brand name into Meta Ad Library. Now, one of the things there is that the brand might be big on digital, but they don't do meta ads, but we do. So if we pop it into meta ad library and they're not there, then we move on to the next one. We have to find somebody that's as close to us as possible. Once we pop it into meta ad library, we do what Melissa says, and we start filtering through all the ads. We don't look through the top ones. We go down and find the ones that have been running for like a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and then we start clicking into all of them. So I'm not looking at any of the creative or anything at this point. I want to see the offer because they might have one ad that's going to one offer, but all of their other ads are going to different offers. So we start clicking through them and we see, okay, hey, we clicked through about 20 of these and all of them are going to this landing page. Okay, that means it's not that the ad is working really well because they're going to filter through ads. It's that this offer is working really well. So this is something that we want to look at and copy. Then once we've copied that, like in the stage we're at right now, like what Melissa's going through and designing everything, we've copied it, we've changed the branding and everything so it's as close to theirs as possible without being gross and copying absolutely everything. Now we just watch it. What's working, what's not working, what's our cost per acquisition? Do we feel like this is probably on par with what they're getting? What's landing, what's not? And we start tweaking from there. But it's really hard to jump into that without getting our own data because we can speculate and we can look at other brands and see why that might be working. Like we did this with Seed in their quiz for IPD Assist, and one of the things that we got down to is, man, it was just that first question that really made the biggest difference. How often do you poop? Weirdest thing ever. That was the thing that made or broke that quiz funnel. But we wouldn't have known that until we ran it ourselves. So the psychology of it, it's interesting because it's the psychology of your brand and your audience rather than like NativePath's, for example.
Sure. Contextual.
Melissa,
Got it.
this
That's
is
awesome.
Mark.
Thanks.
I have a question about the length. When they talk about long form advertorials, I sometimes think that, people online have a very short attention span. I know I do. And I don't really want to sort of, spend 10 minutes reading about something. I really want to just get the most important parts and then make a decision. But I do see this long form frequently. Does that mean that it's just that it must work or people wouldn't be doing it?
Yeah. That's exactly right. It is working, and that's why people are doing it. I think for the native path one, I would probably add in a couple more buttons so that way if people have read the first two signs, they can scroll down to the offer really quickly. But also we've tested short form ones. Sometimes the short forms work and sometimes they don't. So it really is all about just kind of figuring out for your audience what's working and what you need to test. But some of it, like, think about it as the brand owner, the business owner, we know a lot more about our products, about who we can help and what we can do, but we might need to educate them a little bit more. So, like something like this with CoQ10, you're telling the average person what CoQ10 is, they might not know. So you need to kind of go through, even though it is longer, you have to go through that information in order to convert people.
So,
Okay.
Melissa, oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I was just going
Can
to
you
ask
then
one question
oh,
about the
go,
logo. The
go ahead?
logo on the top.
Yeah.
Does every advertorial need to have a logo, or does that make it sort of, more commercial than educational?
I don't think every advertorial needs to have a logo. We've run some without. I generally put the logo there just as brand recognition and trust. We've been running ads on Young Again for a while. And then even then before with the previous owners, they ran ads. And so people do recognize Young Again as the brand. We have done some advertorials where it's almost like a blog that somebody else wrote, and so, because of that, like, we didn't want to have our logo on the top, and so we've kind of had that remove that and just put an announcement bar, that generally, like, calls out because, like, at the top of ours, like, "Attention statin users," so something like that, like, "People using statins over 55 need to read this," and having that as the top bar, is a nice way to get around having to put a logo on there.
You could also do try them one of them where like the person writing it can just be like the Young Again team, and then you can have your logo in there, so it's almost coming from like the brand itself.
Mhm. Yeah.
Is that better than having sort of like like a nurse or a pharmacist or a physician writing
I
the
would
article?
say heck no.
If you can get a nurse or a pharmacist but I generally am not going to put an advertorial together that either I've written the copy for or that I've worked with ChatGPT and then say that a professional wrote it.
Got
Um,
it.
that's just kind of my line in the sand there.
Okay.
I'll make up, Becky V wrote this and, put a picture of Becky, but she won't be a doctor.
Got
Other
it.
brands do, and so if that's your decision. All right, Reinhard, what you got for me?
Just a quick one. Is it fair to say that the advertorial then is best suited for people who are not solution aware and maybe not even product aware? Is that really can you map it one to one to that, or is that is it fair to say?
Um, I can't map it one to one. That's
I would say we kinda went over that today with, salt wrap. So,
yeah.
we had a meeting earlier today with, a supplement brand, and they are they're 8 figures in revenue, and all of their meta advertising goes to, like a kinda like a PDP page, but it's more of a landing page, but it's middle of funnel, bottom of funnel.
Yeah.
Um, but they do have Google ads that are, they're archaic. They've been running forever. And the owner said when he analyzed things, he said majority of their cold traffic, their cold customers originally saw like those advertorials. So I would
Okay.
say, I mean, to answer your question in speculation, it makes sense if they're not product aware to go to an advertorial first. And maybe if they're not solution aware as well, because you could provide that solution in the actual advertorial or the VSL or whatever it might be, and then you can retarget them later to like a
Mhm.
middle of funnel, bottom of funnel ads that go straight to a landing page or a PDP page.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, Paul, what you got?
Quick question in regards to a procedure or litmus test for making sure that you don't spend all this time on copy and only to find that a lot of it is non-compliant with either FDA or Meta or whatever. What's the best thing to do, and at what point in building it out would you do it?
Good question. Okay, so if I am having ChatGPT do the heavy lifting of my copy, I can easily put in there like, hey, like I want to avoid these things. So for us, we're not trying to make any claims. And so we're going to go in and soften anything that is going to have like that claim type thing. So instead of saying that we, reduce your high cholesterol, we'll say, supports the lowering of high cholesterol, stuff like that. So there's no I don't have like a cheat sheet of what words we are going to use or not going to use, but just kind of making sure that if chat's writing the copy or if I'm writing the copy or if we have a copywriter come in and write the copy, like we're double checking, triple checking that it makes sense and it passed our own internal tests. So we don't really have like a hard and fast rule of like definitely use all these words, don't use any of these words. And it's been working so far. So,
All right,
And then
thanks.
Paul, you also got the 48-hour rule. I'll give you a pass, but it's in phase 2. I talk about it where, because I know you just jumped in, but when you get there, we talk about 48-hour rule, which is like if we see an offer like this, like we just went through with NativePath, we're not worried about making it pretty or making it look exact. We give ourselves 48 hours to rebuild exactly what they have, get it up, published, and then run traffic to it for 3 days. So we build it, finalize it, launch it within 48 hours, and then we let traffic run to it for 3 days. That way we can just validate it quickly and we don't spend all this time, turning our wheels on things that, it might not work for us.
So you'll send traffic to an identical page to native?
Yeah, so we'll do exactly what Melissa was showing, where she'll rebuild the page, very similar, but for our product. So she'll change the
Okay, I got
branding,
it.
she'll change the wording, and all of
Okay.
that. But part of this is, when in the early stages when you're just getting started, it's hard to be original because you gotta learn from somebody else's success. And so a lot of times, everybody in SGA, I always recommend, if you're below 7 figures, if you're above 7 figures, you've got the room to be original and be successful. But if you're below 7 figures, the easiest path to being successful is just copy somebody else that's bigger than you. Get it as close as possible. Don't rip their stuff off, steal their imagery and everything, and just do it
Right.
really quickly. Just test it. And then if you get some validation, some customers, some traffic, some signups, then go start tweaking it, and optimize it. But I try and tell people, like, stay away from the too much original thought in the very beginning, because you'll just get deterred when it doesn't work. When you start having some good traffic going and some leads on that list, then go after the original stuff, because that's going to make you stand out and get out of the crowd.
One last question. Sorry to keep hoarding. But like, could I take this page that's going to be for Meta, Google, and whatever, and use the same exact thing for like affiliates, or is that a whole different animal?
Affiliates. Oh, well, you could use it for affiliates if you're gonna have them run their traffic to it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a good answer to that. You could definitely have it, but like a variation of it. Um, they're gonna want to have, like a squeeze page or a bridge page in addition to the advertorial. Um, but I'd have to give more thought to the whole
Right. Just
affiliate
curious.
model. Yeah,
Thanks a lot. This
yeah,
this was really helpful.
yeah.
Are you running with affiliates, Paul?
No, I've stacked them up, like a few hundred of them, but I've had some issues with Go Afro and stuff like that, to technical issues to get it to work properly because of the conflicts with my wholesale program. So I'm in a little bit of a stall stage right now, but I do have a few hundred affiliates that have signed up for my products that I've never done anything with.
Mm, gotcha. Yeah. I suppose you could use the same page, but it depends on, like, the affiliate network that you're in. A lot of them might want to build their own pages, or, like Melissa was saying, build a squeeze page in between, so that they can capture the leads and everything as well. But I don't see a problem with them utilizing the same page, but I think it's different per affiliate and per affiliate network.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Related to Paul's question about not getting in trouble by being compliant, is there a prompt that you could give ChatGPT, like the exact wording that would tell ChatGPT to be compliant so that it won't say things that it shouldn't claim?
Hmm.
You
I
can get it pretty close, but definitely not to the point of like not manually reading it.
Yeah,
But
not
yeah,
I
not
would say,
lawyer ready.
yeah,
I
yeah,
can
you can
probably
put,
expand on that a little bit. I'm sorry. But I do that all the time with ChatGPT, and it's really good, but sometimes it's overly conservative. And it's always got the same words, like support this, that, whatever. It never comes up with anything unique, just the usual standard stuff.
And
Yeah.
is there a particular set of words you use to tell it to be compliant?
Yeah, I just say, hey, make sure that you're FDA compliant and or Meta Facebook compliant and so forth. And it
Uh,
totally gets it. And it
got it.
likes it when you do that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
now tell
And
it to do that and don't use the word support and see what it does.
Mark,
Good
what you
point.
could also do to be extra safe is, dictate where it gets the references from. You're not gonna go wrong by telling it to go to PubMed to pull all its information, and then
Uh-huh.
referring back to PubMed, and other kind of, like, trusted parties like that, if you wanted to be really safe. I will tell you, um, when we were at Scale with Living It Daily, we hired a legal team to go through every page that we had public. So every funnel, every landing page, every video, even, and the video scripts, entire website. And we spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to have this done. And we got back this just annoying redlined document of should do's. And so it was up to our discretion of yeah, we should change this. Yeah, we shouldn't change that. But pretty much like they took one of our entire landing pages and the entire thing was redlined. I wasn't going to change all of that. I was only going to change the things that would be like that would sick the FTC on us. So it's a weird gray area, but just don't make claims. Don't say your product will make you grow 10 feet or something like that. Support in, aid in, or those are all safe words, but just don't be definitive unless you
And
have the study to back it up. We had one study because of our Omega's product, the turmeric or the curcumin that we were using had a study done behind it where we could make a claim as long as we referred back to that study. But outside of that, we always played it safe with support in, aid in, all of that.
got it. And does Meta have the software to go through the long form ads to pick out ones that are not compliant?
I personally haven't seen Meta flag too much on landing pages. The only thing that I've seen Meta flag is sometimes on advertorials, they'll flag it up and make you put like advertorial at the very top, or there will be you'll notice on some pages at the very bottom in the footer, it'll say like not affiliated with Meta or not affiliated with Google. Sometimes they'll flag that as well. I haven't ran into that probably in like the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, but let me pause real quick because I saw Austin come off of mute.
I was going to say on the ad side, they're not very helpful at all. Like for the pages, they'll give you a little more context, but for the ads, like anytime I've seen ads shut down, like they just say you broke the rules. They don't give you any context whatsoever with it, which makes it kind of difficult to navigate around.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, that was not helpful at all. Just kind of dooming and glooming, but sorry about that.
All good. All right, we're a little bit over, so we're gonna end today. But yeah, if you guys have any more questions in regards to offers, or if there's something specific that you want to see, definitely reach out to me. And if you have pages for me to review, happy to do so. Randy, I will review yours again and get back to you.
I was going to say it's completely updated, so I just dropped it in the chat. I figured since we built an advertorial today, we might could go through one real quick so you can pinpoint the pros and cons live. But we're out of time. We're out of time.
Yeah, we are.
Melissa, you on tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be on tomorrow.
Let's save some time. We'll do Q&A first, but not many people have been coming with questions, so I'm sure we'll have time to roll through it tomorrow.
Cool.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks so much, team.
Thank you.
Thanks
Bye,
all.
Thank you.
Later, y'all.